Mate MarineLorD versus VS Anotand coming to you live right now. And we're starting off immediately. Only 2 minutes between us and game number 1. First matchup, Whammon. It's gonna be the French up against the Byzantines on Dry Arabia.
MarineLorD is playing home civilization. He's playing French. This is where he thrives. He knows how to French. He was born French. And sometimes when he speaks English, we also think he's speaking French. So he's been preparing for this his whole life. And Anotand, on the other hand, he has no historical ties to Byzantines, but he is a pretty damn good Byzantine player. So
I'm sure everybody in some way or form has historical ties to the Byzantines.
Mm-hmm.
They've been pretty widespread. Yeah.
They're pretty strong.
A far relative. Okay.
Okay,
yeah.
chill, guys. We didn't need to see that. This is a family-friendly stream. This was unacceptable. Bracketing.
Okay, so there is an underdog here.
Mm-hmm.
It might not be apparent at first glance who it is. I think the odds might be stacked against MarineLorD, but we'll see. We'll see how he fares, right?
Now, MarineLorD definitely has a little bit of an edge over Anotand, as we see the 100% win rate there. MarineLorD does have a high win rate against most players, but that's why I'm saying this is not just a game that Anotand has to win. This is a mental game he has to win. This is that big mountain that you say you're gonna climb one day, and every single time you make it halfway through, you're like, hey, I'm going back down. But Anotand, he's been climbing that mountain. He's practiced for this, and if there's a time for him to do it, it's now. To at least give MarineLorD a run for his money.
Yeah, it's time for Anotand to bring out those crazy B strategies that he's so proud of every now and then. And, he executes them at such a high level that I'm just thinking back about, like, his China strategy with, like, the delayed pro scout. And other pros have been like, oh my god, it's such a good strategy when I see it, but when I try it, it sucks. Mm-hmm. But for Anotand, he knows how to use it. Unfortunately, China is banned, but Byzantines, also a civilization where you can have lots of tricks up your sleeve. We're jumping in to our game number 1 in the second set of the semifinals. Here we go, everybody, as we do have in the color pink, Gentlemates MarineLorD playing as the French here. And look at that, very early mill, very early wheelbarrow. His opponent in the color yellow. It's going to be Volda Esports vs Anotand as the Byzantines here. Villager already on stone, and we do see that first cistern coming up immediately. Whammon, this is a very, very exciting set.
Anotand, yeah, and Anotand especially is a player that has been playing Byzantines a little bit differently from other players too. He was one of the pioneers of the Hippodrome, and he did it before the nerf as well. But when you're up against French, you will not be able to do any of those horsey shenanigans that early on in the game. So, makes sense that he's going for a little bit more of a standard play here. Now, Byzantines, in most cases, they do well against French, right? We have a civilization that can trade pretty effectively, but at the same time, they have some problems shutting down when French starts to get a bit of map control. Usually, we ask ourselves the question, who's going to go, or is MarineLorD going to go pro scouts or just make a ton of knights? There have been these two pathways where you either go for pro scouts or you go for pro scouts, after all. But how many knights do you invest in before then? Because that's going to mean that Anotand needs to respond accordingly. Now, what Anotand is doing differently, he only has 1 on stone. And this has not been the standard split for anyone recently.
Yeah, typically we do see Byzantines just really trying to rush into the cistern as quickly as possible. Now, Anotand, he knows. He knows he's up against a French player. Early knights are always going to be a thing with them. He knows that he cannot invest too much into his economy immediately. He will need to get a military force out to answer what MarineLorD is going to be throwing at him. So he knows, okay, I'll just have 1 villager on stone. The cisterns are going to be coming in a little bit slower, but I'm going to be able to mass up more military. I'm going to be able to get my production buildings in that little bit quicker, that little bit earlier. And these little things, they can really make a big difference when you're up against such a tempo-based civilization like the French here.
Now, we do see the age up coming through very standardly here from both players. We see a little bit of a Grand Winery here, but it is going to be a little exposed as well. And a Knight civilization, they love a good front berry patch for him, especially with the gold being on the other side. It is going to mean that he's going to be able to rotate pretty quickly. to get some damage done. And usually this is what I look at when I am a French player. I'm seeing, okay, where am I going to be able to harass? Where am I going to really be able to do damage? Usually when there's a wood line, it makes things a little harder, but this is not one of those wood lines. This is a very exposed environment to be in. So a single knight could definitely ensure that Anotand is pretty much stuck and not able to move those Limitae out to try and stop professional scouts. Now, when we look at the deer spawns as well, MarineLorD has got some 2 forward deer, which is actually a pretty good position to have because they're quite close to the base. He just needs to get control of that side. And on the other side, the deer packs are also that way. But this also means that if Anotand does get control of one side, he does have an easier time pushing out and stopping the pro scouts from snowballing.
This is one of the weaknesses at the moment, though, from the Byzantines. They have been slowed down a little bit when it comes to their first mercenary timing, typically because of the way that the cisterns have been like pushed back a little bit. Like you can get them out, the later ones you can get them out a little bit quicker, but it takes more of an investment. Like you actually have to move out onto stone in order to realistically get them early on. This is where like the play onto stone with only a single villager can kind of come into play, because he might reasonably get the quicker first mercenary timing in here in this one. Professional scouts now coming in for MarineLorD before even investing into that initial first knight. So we'll be getting a nice timing in on that. Anotand already getting the barracks in, so we'll be seeing Limitani coming in very soon. Wilbur also on the way. Isn't getting boosted up by any of the cisterns speed-wise, but that's not the most important thing here at the moment for Anotand. But look at that archery range immediately coming in for MarineLorD. Okay, he's onto him. He's onto him, so we'll be having the response out immediately.
Now, I love seeing this from MarineLorD because, of course, he is expected to make a knight the first time, but he's not. He realizes, I don't need to. I just need to get my deer. The deer are pretty close. I want this. And with those archers, he's not going to need to worry about microing a knight or causing idle. He's just going to go and kill the Limitae as they are popping out. So with those Limitae, he's going to be able to push out and have pretty good control in his eyes, but he's going to run right into those archers the moment he gets to the front there. Now, Pro Scouts is almost in, double Broad Axe following soon after, which just means that I think MarineLorD's economy is going to be in a pretty healthy spot now. And Anotand also pulled off of stone. So he's not going to have that strong Byzantines economy that we talked about in the previous games.
3 cisterns still is a lot of scaling here for him. We do also see the mercenary house coming in, so we'll soon be able to get either some longbowmen or some javelin throws out. I will expect javelin throws, just because in general, javelin throwers are such a great synergy when you're up against the French, or JD for that matter, because not only are you going to be getting those javelin throwers in the feudal age, which are just great against the archer units, but you will also be getting the camel riders in the Castle Age, so you'll always have that camel on ease helping you up against those knights. Do you see the first couple of scouts now returning with some deer here already? It's going to be some nice food income there for Anotand. He's got to wait for his javelin throws to come in before he can really start pushing out up against these archers.
Now, with all of these units out on the map, you of course feel like, hey, I can probably contest something, but Anotand respects the archer mass here. And MarineLorD at the same time, he's not going to be greedy. He's still in his base. He's still just being responsible about this. Now queuing up that first knight, which is going to mean the pace of the game now changes. There's a lot of Limitae on the field though, so he needs to be careful. But we've seen MarineLorD micro those knights. It's his home civilization, Crackety. This man is not going to lose that knight. And as I say that, I realize I may have
This guy speaks French.
Yes. Yeah. Now, the archers are moving out. They want to ensure that these scouts are going to be safe when picking up the deer. But getting those javies out feels pretty good for Anotand too. He's now got the javelin throwers he needs. The problem is just when those knight numbers ramp up, those javelins don't live very long, and you need a lot of them to actually start killing those archers off. Now, both of these players looking at their economy though, MarineLorD, he's got a pretty strong strong income in that way. The thing is just, if he over-relies on these deer that he's getting and doesn't make a move to shut down the Byzantines, it can snowball quickly for him as well.
Yeah, I'm wondering at the moment if Anotand is just content with denying MarineLorD his deer and lets him take his own. You do need that second pack of javelin throws in order to be able to start one-shotting these archers. Before that, you're only going to be able to two-shot them. And javelin throws don't have the fastest attack speed. So by the point in time that the archers really get thinned out, typically you already have lost a couple of Limitani. Now, Anotand already has a great number of them out there, so the Knights from MarineLorD shouldn't be really able to find a lot of value. Anotand also has a good amount of villagers on gold now, might be rallying out even more soon, so will be on that way to the Cast Age. Yeah, he is indeed rallying onto that one. Villagers do need to be brought back to safety. Akratoy does get activated, but isn't going to be strong enough here against a double Royal Knight charge.
Now, getting a little kill here is definitely a pretty good feeling. But you can see he's being careful with those archers as well. He doesn't want to get caught out and lose any of them to the 8 javelin throwers that there are now. Now, 16 archers, though, they do have a different ring to them. And finally, Anotand is getting those military upgrades as well. When you get into a point where your opponent, especially it being French, already has his upgrades and you are now the one pushing out, it does feel so risky. But Anotand seems to be moving out here with confidence. The military value as well, looking pretty much dead even.
Yeah, with this blacksmith upgrade now coming in, this Limitani will be able to tank up a lot more damage from the archers. The javelin throwers might be able to pick off 1 or 2 here. He just needs to be very careful not to move too far out of position here with the Limitani. Good positioning from him at the moment. Javelin throwers able to pick off a good bunch of the archers here. Shield wall means that the Limitani are going to be moving a good bit slower, but still very active on the macro. But the Limitani count, it's starting to thin out. That's when it becomes really dangerous. Those javelin throwers, I'm not sure if they can make their way back. Raze not connecting here. Javelin throwers doing their best in order to try and escape. Might be able to pick off a knight here potentially. At least one of them is fairly low health. Are going to be able to get that one, but on the retreat is going to lose a lot of these javelin throwers, and this isn't a unit that you can actively produce. You rely on the olive oil there. Another one going down. That's a point-blank charge there. Great usage of it from MarineLorD. Last couple of javelin throwers, both just on so little HP that the archers can kill him at this point in time.
And this is the problem when you're playing Byzantines against the French. You feel that confidence in your javelin throwers. You feel like, hey, I can take this. This is fine. MarineLorD showed he knew exactly when to pull out and pull in when he needed to. Those Limitanae quickly falling as the archers were just target firing, even having that +1 ranged armor. Now you can see Anotand is desperately trying to get these towers reinforced so that he doesn't lose these villages that are this far out on the map, because he needs this income. And behind this, going for the age up. The problem is just if he ages up now, he could just die.
That's the thing. Goldenhorn Tower is coming in for him, though, because he knows MarineLorD, he's the French, he's scaling with the Pro Scout, he's scaling with the faster villager production that is coming in on his side. He needs to scale his own way, either through the tech or through a second TC, but a second TC just feels way too risky when you're up against the French, and the technology advantage that you get with the Goldenhorn Tower is just very much immediate, just a much safer option here for you, especially with all the systems that you already have. You're going to be able to get your upgrades in incredibly quickly. You see MarineLorD once again poking at the gold villages, though. There's an outpost here. Like, at least for the time being, MarineLorD doesn't feel confident enough yet to dive that one. Needs a couple more knights. Does still have a good couple of them in queue. Goldenhorn Tower now about to complete.
Now, the moment that Goldenhorn Tower hits, it feels like MarineLorD might be going for the kill in that moment, because he knows that you stopped spending resources on the things that matter, units. And that Archmass he's got at the back, it's so difficult to take them down. We can now see as well, there is an upgrade coming for all of his units, but there is not a lot of units to go alongside it. 5 villages about to be meeting their maker after this too. Now, the javelin throwers are trying to pick off there from the side, and they do manage to pick up a few archers, but it's nothing at the cost of these 5 vills, who are now desperately trying to just keep this army engaged. But you can see those 5 javelin throwers, they are not going to last very long, as the knights... Yeah, knights look at them quite aggressively, but the archer mass themselves is more than enough to actually take this on. MarineLorD now going for castle himself.
Ooh, the villagers from Anotand, they need to evacuate. 8, but... he calls it there. He knows that he does not have enough here against this pressure from Anotand. Not sure if he just ran also out of food at this point in time, but means that he is not able to get enough units out on the field there in order to defend against this massive army from MarineLorD. That's one of the issues when you're up against the French. They don't need to age up. They don't need to get to Castle Age. They get the knights already in Feudal Age. They've got the full army composition up against armored units in Feudal Age, and that means that at this point in time, MarineLorD, he could have dove Anotand's base there, and there was very, very little that he could have done there in defense with all the javelin throws already picked off early on.
The overcommitment from a player in that scenario, it's so easy to do because you feel confident in your army mass. You know you've got the javelin mass. We can see here in this fight, those Limitanei were trying to chase after the knights, but the perfect micro that you need to keep those javelins alive is so simple to just make a mistake. And you can see he was doing great with the javelins, just picking off whatever he could. But the knights, every single time, they just got a connection or kept the Limitanei busy. The archers had one thing in mind, and the thing was the Limitanei. Even with the shield wall, they were no match for those archers firing at them.
Indeed, and this point-blank charge that's coming in here in a little bit as well, it was just such a nice play there. MarineLorD sees the Limitani there, charges onto him, hits the javelin throws with it, and gets so much damage in on there. And I think it was like 10 military units up against 40 at this point in time, with all of them, or rather a good chunk of them, being armored. It's not something where you can just rely on your TC's defenses there inside of your base. Next up, though, we're going to be getting a little bit more of a, I want to say, not meme map, but it's a map that forces unique early decision making, as we are going to be looking at Enlightened Horizon, and that's one of those maps that has points of interest on it. We do have Double Wolves Camp, we do have the Cavern Camps, things that you want to take control over in the Dark Age, so we'll be definitely looking at a little bit of a Dark Age brawl here early on in this one.
Yeah, the Dark Age brawl has been quite common, especially between these civilizations. HRE does so well with getting those spears out. Now, the real question has been, for some people, on whether you move the villager out to build the barracks on top of the, what is that, the point of interest? And then make your units from there, capture it, and then go onto the wolf den. So we'll see what the difference is here, because we just haven't seen this map enough to actually see what the right answer to this is. And especially in a game like this with the best of the best playing today, it will give us some unanswered answers that we unanswered questions. The unanswered questions will receive answers today. Oh my goodness, I am going to stop trying to phrase that sentence, and we will see what HRE can do. But HRE against Lancaster here, the matchup itself, it leaves a big question mark, because you need to move out for gold, right? You can't just sit in your base, hope for that one little gold to provide for the whole army. Lancaster does pretty good at not having access to all that gold, because very easily they have a defensive building for that. HRE, on the other hand, when you're doing Dark Age shenanigans, you don't get to go fast castle and just snack up all the relics. You actually need to make units, but against Lancaster, they might have that opportunity, now that I think about it.
HRE, they've gotten the slight little nerf of 5% less inspiration boost on them, but overall it's still incredibly powerful, boosts up your economy, that you're able to just pump out so many units early on as long as you're on those natural resources out on the map. And with a map like like Enlightened Horizon, I think you're also going to get some good Archon Chapel positions here. But ladies and gentlemen, it is time. We do have our game number 2 now. MarineLorD already in the lead, 1 point up against Anotand. We're here on Enlightened Horizon with the HRE up against the House of Lancaster. And well, as you said, the age-old question, I want to say, for this map in particular, do you send the villagers out to build the building, or do you build them inside of your base? Looks like both players decide to build them out on the map to get an early capturing in on those points of interest here, as every single one of these caravan camps is worth 2 villagers.
And that is going to add a nice little boost to that economy, with both of them getting more or less at the same time. Villager now already being pulled back here from MarineLorD. The other one from Anotand just staying a little bit longer to get that capping off, and so he does. Both of these players now getting that second spearman as well, and heading straight for the wood camp, or the wolf camp. So they will be going to torch down and get that bounty of gold that will be heading their way. Now the question is, when do you stop making spearmen? Is this when you actually get the wolves down, or do you make a play for your opponent's side of the map as well?
I think in this point in time, both players just going so early forward. There's not really a timing at which you can also try and harass your opponent's wolves den. So except both players, MarineLorD actively using his scout there in order to burn the wolves den down. Meanwhile, Anotand using his scout to continue scouting and tries to get some more information there on the map, meaning that MarineLorD is going to be able to get his wolves den down a little bit quicker. And look at that, even with the efficiency here, getting some additional torch throwers in from his starting scout. And we do see Anotand now gets the wolves out. Spearman is just going to go for a little bit of a run to distract them. MarineLorD, now having the gold secured, is going to move out in order to try and harass Anotand's point of interest there in front of his base.
And now the play begins, where they will go for one another. But Anotand, he does have the HRE Spearman, so they do things a little bit faster, aka running, but they've already taken a little bit more damage from these wolves. So this is not the same type of Spearman on Spearman engagement that you would usually see here. Anotand now, he's got that gold in the bank, MarineLorD as well. Both of these players can be thinking about feudal age now, and both of them stopping that Spearman production too. It does look like they will meet in the middle, however.
Anton does have those spearmen that are just a little bit faster, but the charge does make the difference here. MarineLorD is going to be able to get a couple of cheap shots then onto the spearmen from Anotand there. And the House of Lancaster Castle, is now coming in behind this. Anton still investing into Spearman at this point in time. Isn't going to be as quick of an age up for him as it is for MarineLorD, and then he has to be careful because that hardened upgrade on the Spearman is going to give them a ton of additional stats there early on. Anton now also going to be able to follow up with his own Arkham play. There it is, just reposition a little bit next to the gold vein and also the stone down there.
That is a pretty juicy spot to have it as well. So this is a very nice Archon, especially in the early game, when you know that there won't be any shenanigans on top of your base coming for some proper harassment here. MarineLorD on his stone now too, trying to start getting on those manners, because, you know, with the Lancaster economy, a bunch of manners will just make it so much simpler. Now the question is just whether he's going to stay in feudal for a while, get a few more manners, invest in that, or if Anotand is going to be the one who dictates what the response needs to be. I feel like with HRE, he now has the opportunity to put that pressure down, and that's exactly what he's doing. With the 8 spearmen he has, he's going to be able to do so, but he's going to run right into the Lancaster Castle, so that point of interest is going to be safe for the time being. But what do we do with 8 spearmen in this economy?
The follow-up is mostly just going to be archers, typically, between the players. MarineLorD, though, doesn't necessarily have to go for archers. He can instead just go for the straight-up manor play, because right now there's not really a target for Anotand that he can attack. Ooh, does lose one of his spearmen there. Unfortunate move-out timing there for him. Both players now with the hardened upgrade on the spearman. Anotand actually immediately investing into a man-at-arm on his side. It's an interesting choice. MarineLorD's gold is on the other side of his base, so it's not something that can be immediately attacked. I'm wondering just how many villagers MarineLorD has on gold, as he is sending out more and more over there. I do believe that this most likely on this map, from what I've seen in the past, in the meta here, is just going to be a fast castle age from MarineLorD with only 3 manors. And we do see Anotand now also adding in his own archer range. Archers are going to be in production for him now. Question is, can he find the timing here to aggress onto that gold as quickly as he really needs to? Do have the second archer range coming in, though, and MarineLorD actively scouting that.
Yes, and with this information, he should know that there is some aggression coming from that side. Getting that type of information already tells you, hey, I might need to consider what happens after. And what happens when these guys get into your base. This is going to be quite tough. The manor is now coming here on the backside. We do see the spearmen just trying to be annoying, putting a little bit of pressure down. They should be able to do a little bit of damage here to a villager. They pull back. They do not want to lose any HP here as these manors are firing back at them. MarineLorD knows access to that gold is going to be limited. He's already put the wall up there so the units cannot rotate around and stop the secondary gold when they want to. But it actually looks like Anotand is circling from a different side and not going directly for the gold here. MarineLorD also going for the extra set of manners. He wants to stay in feudal and fight this. Even with that HRE economy boost, he feels confident in Lancaster's ability to defend this.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like it's not going to be any fast castle shenanigans from the House of Lancaster here after all. Doubling down a little bit on the manor play, but MarineLorD, he doesn't have any additional production buildings yet, so he's essentially giving Anotand some time here to go for his own aggression. Anotand, though, he's got a really, really solid food bank at this point in time. I wouldn't be surprised if the continued play now from this point on would be a Castle Age transition from him.
Now, Anotand floating a lot of resources here. This would not be surprising at all, because what he's just done is he's forced MarineLorD to try and respond to these units. So even if he does go for castle behind this, but oh my goodness, he's trading so well. These men-at-arms in the composition is just making this so much harder to actually take down. We can now see the units looking straight at the manors to do a little bit of damage, but pulling back. He's done what he needed to do. He's getting a few more archers here and a few more spears. It looks like Anotand got a taste of damage, and he's just going to keep going for it.
Yeah, it looks like he's doubling down further, at the same time also still progressing further and further towards his own Castle Age. And at the same time, MarineLorD, he's been forced into an investment on units on his own side. We see double archery ranges coming in now from the House of Lancaster. So Yeoman will be coming into production for him, but Yeoman, not the cheapest unit. You really have to really dig deep into that piggy bank there if you want to be able to afford them continuously.
And the siege engineering being the first upgrade from the blacksmith tells us a story of aggression. It tells us a story of forcing your opponent to make units and not go for their own castle. Yes, it's just ensuring MarineLorD can stay in.
Is this Burger?
Is it Burger? No.
This could be Burger. No, this could be Burger because he's got a straight path over. It's Regnitz.
He plays at the safe path. He's already got a barracks. He's got a lot of archers on the map. He's going to get his upgrades as needed. And he's going to secure all those relics. But I think a Burger could have definitely been something MarineLorD would not be able to handle. We do see
I was craving that burger.
Yeah, I got kind of hungry as well.
Muster Nobles is going to be coming in. At this point in time, MarineLorD, he's got the 6 manors, so we'll be getting 8 Demi-Lances out there on his side. Ram, let's see if it's going to be able to take down one of these manors. We do only have the Spearman at the moment really being there in order to go up against the Ram. Now with the Demi-Lancers, though, that changes up things a little bit. Demi-Lancers will do their best up against that Ram. Still, the manor stands. Ram hasn't been able to take it down so far. Looks like Anotand is falling back for the moment here, though. Does already have a second prelate moving out. Actually, he's already positioned right next to one of the relics, so we'll be getting that one in as soon as Castle Age hits. And MarineLorD is still relatively deep inside of Feudal Age.
And the thing is, he's invested so much into these units. Getting Muster the Nobles is pretty expensive one to get. More archers in queue for Anotand as well. He's getting the archer upgrade as priority here. Another spearman would be nice, especially with those horses coming your way, good sir. But we do see that first relic making its way now towards the base. Those Demi-Lancers are going to be looking for some damage, though. Now, these guys, they do take a little bit of damage more than a usual knight would. And Anotand, he's going for a knight himself. Now, that is going to make life a lot harder for MarineLorD with only yeomen and these little all Demi-Lancers.
Yeah. At this point in time, every single relic that Anotand's able to pick up is going to make up for like 1.5 manors that MarineLorD has. So if he's able to get like 4 relics in, he's going to be looking quite happy, even up against the manor boom. Veterancy on the archers just about to complete, and there we go, +2 damage now on them. They're going to be able to trade out a lot better against the Demi-Lances now, and the scout goes down as well. MarineLorD now blind without vision until he builds up a stable on his own side. This could be dangerous for him as Anotand still has enough resources for a ram on his side. Could start taking control over the point of interest here, but there's still the Castle of Lancaster protecting that one up. Yeoman, insufficient numbers here to take down these spearmen rather quickly. No additional blacksmith upgrades at this point yet from Anotand. MarineLorD already has some at least here. Anotand still has to be relatively careful. Even though he does have the tech advantage, he does not have the army count advantage.
Now, Anotand is trying to make sure that those relics come back to the base safely, and he has been able to do so. The Knight now finding a little bit of damage here. Archer's focusing down the Spearmen, because we can see those Yeomen are barely tickling this Knight, and the inefficient trades that they're doing is going to cost MarineLorD dearly. But keep in mind, this is something that MarineLorD has accounted for. He's got 6 manners. So 6 manners is definitely going to make this a little bit more viable, but he's already out on that second gold. So now getting the upgrades, getting the White Tower on the next gold as well. He knows that this is maybe going to be a longer game, and he needs to probably stretch this one out a little bit. Although, Anotand, he won't mind that, especially with all the relics coming towards him. The thing is, though, MarineLorD has been able to secure that middle relic and stop the relics from going back to the base as quickly as Anotand would have wanted. And now, we can now see another connection here coming on through. The Knight doing the best he can. The Demi-Lancers are going to get their charges off on him. The Archers are trying to focus fire what they can. The problem is, those are going to be veteran Demi-Lancers in a second, and he needs to be careful. Anotand does not have the army to contest this just yet.
Yeah, no Pierce damage in yet. Did manage to get the Pierce armor upgrade in, so the Knights at least are going to be a good bit more tanky up against the Yeomen. Demi-Lancers still do have a very solid charge on them. Now also getting +1 additional armor, thanks to the Shadow upgrade coming in on them. MarineLorD still able to hold control with his good amount of Yeomen yet. Now also gained 3 additional Earl's Guards here for him. And he's going to need a little bit of time now in order to muster up enough units, enough archers here, in order to start really being able to push out up against the Master MarineLorD. MarineLorD able to capture up the point of interest here in front of Anotand's base, also able to take down a house. Anotand about to be housed right now. Is going to need to reinvest into houses, get more units out onto the field.
Now, it does look like MarineLorD wants to do some damage. Anotand, though, I feel like he's invested a lot into the Archers, and the Archers just have not been... They're not going to be a good answer to what the Yeomen can bring, especially when these upgrades kick in. But it does seem like MarineLorD is backing off, waiting for those upgrades.
Anotand about to get his 3rd relic in. The other 2 relics, they're so close to his base, but yet so far away, with the army from MarineLorD just separating them. Veterancy now in on the Yeomen as well. Looks like Anotand is going for the attempt now. We do see some prelates at the front line as well. Are going to be at the very least able to soak up some of the arrow fire here. Spearmen are going to get focused down now. Have been taken care of. Still some more coming in. Knights from Anotand looking solid, but the Yeomen have just been continuously firing onto the archers. And the Demi-Lancers have just been a solid, very, very solid meat shield here the entire time, and he calls it!
Anotand looking absolutely commanding for that first part, but losing a fight and realizing, hey, MarineLorD might just take it from here. Because with the Lancaster economy, you know that the income is going to be pretty great for them. And that's the problem when you are playing against the civilization. But Anotand, I don't know if that was the moment to tap out. He may have run out of gold behind this as well, not getting all the relics that he wanted.
The thing is, in these situations, right, like Anotand and MarineLorD, they've been practicing against each other for quite a long time. So they kind of like have this iterance going where they know, or like they have a feeling for when they think a game is over. And because they played against each other for so long time, there are like these reads that they kind of give here and there. I think maybe Anotand's like, okay, I think in this position I'm dead. I've been in this position before against him. I've had this play against him before. He knows how to deal with this. Yeah, in these situations, you could just kind of know, okay, because they played against each other, they know what the other player is capable of. And they think, okay, maybe I don't have a chance in this one anymore.
Yeah, this is a difficult decision point for a lot of players because you understand the limits of your civilization. But you also understand the rest of the draft. MarineLorD just got rid of your HRE. HRE has been priority pick for a long time. So seeing something like this on a map that you seem to be pretty comfortable in, it does feel harsh. Because again, this is a battle of the minds too. Now Sunken Lands is up next, and Anotand, he's been really looking good on Ottomans. MarineLorD, on the other hand, getting Order of the Dragon. And we've been seeing a little bit of Order of the Dragon plays on a few of these maps with these small golds. The 2 TC play has been really strong. And a lot of players just haven't found a way to punish that for Order of the Dragon yet.
Yeah, 2TC Order of the Dragon is relatively strong. I'm not sure if we're going to see it on Sunken Lands specifically, though. Sunken Lands is a map where you have, depending on the spawns, relatively awkward gold access, because your first 2 gold veins are going to be small ones, so only 1600 gold inside of them. You do tend to also have 1 4k gold vein relatively close to you. But looking at this, it's actually the other way around. MarineLorD is the one with the Ottomans here, and Anotand has the Order of the Dragons.
Now, that changes things up a little, because I know that Anotand has been a very good tempo player with Ottomans. He's been very aggressive. I haven't seen MarineLorD's Ottomans in a while. So, again, that problem of MarineLorD not playing all the smaller tournaments, we don't really know what we're going to be seeing out of MarineLorD. He's...
Sipahi.
Yeah.
Lots and
true.
lots of Sipahi.
The French flows within him, and Sipahi is as close as you get. So, on Sunken Lands, though, when you're playing against Sipahi, with those small golds, it just opens you up to a lot of harassment as well. The question is just, is Anotand going to be able to survive against that MarineLorD aggression that we do see Order of the Dragon sometimes struggle against? Even though their units, they fire harder, they're stronger, they're just so much more expensive. So when you do make a mistake, it costs double.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, right, like, Order of the Dragon, they're great when it comes to dealing with, like, cavalry units. Their spearmen, whenever there's just a slight touch, whenever they graze one of those horsemen, just a quarter of their HP gone immediately, and that's where I think this matchup becomes a lot more interesting, because the mass Sipahi play against a civilization like Order of the Dragon might not pay off as quickly. Now, at the same time, though, Sipahi are just incredibly dangerous whenever they jump on archers, and having a lot more value concentrated on your archers can also hurt you in that way. And because the Sipahi have so much more HP, they're able to survive 1 additional spearman hit. So maybe there's an issue with, like, diving past the spearmen, jumping on the archers, just getting a ton of value in immediately. We're going to have to see exactly how this one plays out. But one thing is already for certain. This matchup, there's got to be a lot of Sipahi. That's, like, the primary unit that Ottomans can make here in this matchup. Just Sipahi archers, a couple of spearmen. That typically does the trick. And we're going to be jumping right into this one, as it is time for us to go into game number 3. Between MarineLorD and Anotand.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Mr. Yellow Anotand here with Order of the Dragon, fitting his color with his flag so perfectly. And on the other side, MarineLorD shining loud and proud with Ottomans, getting that stone at the start, ensuring that he's going to get that military school up pretty quickly. Now, he builds it at the back. I love to see this, how well it's protected with the wood lines too. It makes for a pretty nice spot if you are being, harassed or Sipahi. Oh, I was going to say Sipahi, but I was going to correct that and say horsemen at the same time. Because those Order of the Dragon horsemen, they do love a good dive onto a wood line too, especially with this map. Having one of those wood lines a little bit further away, it does allow you to run and be aggressive quite quickly. Now, looking at the spawn, though, we do have a forward gold here for Anotand. I mean, it's got a berry right next to it, but this is something that he needs to be careful of when those Sipahi's long sticks do poke right through. Because with those Sipahi's range, they are pretty good at punishing any deviance from your safe side, I would say.
Yeah, 100%. This is an interesting situation, though, for MarineLorD to go for these early spearmen, because typically on this map, you're not that close to your opponent. By the time that you get the spearmen in, you're not going to be able to deny feudal age. And also at the same time, you're not going to be able to learn deer anymore, at least not effectively. So it's going to be interesting to see where exactly MarineLorD is going to be sending that spearman, if he still just wants to get a little bit of aggression up against Anotand. But speaking of not being able to get in value on your opponent's side with your Ottoman spearman, that spearman arrives soon, then he might definitely get some value in there, as Anotand is aging up right next to the gold vein.
Now, trying to age up next to the gold vein feels fine, right? But it just negates that idle time that you may have had. But it does open you up to a little bit of harassment here. The spearman now making his way across, and it looks to be towards the top of the side of the map, which is going to be on the stone. Now, the stone, Crackety. I think I'm smelling a second TC, or am I just coping here? Is that just a little emplacement?
No, actually, this early on, you wouldn't be building a mining camp there if it was just for an emplacement, because not Achery, but Order of the Dragon, they get discounts on the emplacement, and they also get bonus gather capacity on the villagers. So you only need 1 drop of the 3 villagers, meaning that typically it's not worth building the mining camp for it. So this does look like it is going to be that 2 TC Order of the Dragon play that we've been looking forward to.
Now the spearman does arrive and he sees exactly where he could be attacking. Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Thank you, Vodka. Showing us that the spearman knows as much as we do. You do not know, Jon Snow. So he does rotate over there to the stone. The thing is now, again, with that wood line. Oh, that wood line is so nice and on the edge. He's going to be able to stop a little bit of this. We don't see the second one close to here just yet. So he's going to be able to poke the villagers are a little bit spicier than usual ones, so they will be able to fight back at least for a while. More villagers joining this mining party and going to try to get enough stone for the second TC. We do see them fighting back quite heavily, though.
Yeah, MarineLorD, though, he is still sticking to this aggression, being very, very annoying here for Anotand, and he's got to pay constant attention there. He's got to micro in the villagers in and out, and he doesn't want to lose any of them at this point in time. So yeah, he's definitely going to have to pay his utmost attention every now and then. Just villager idle time being caused there as they are being pulled for the quick shift, so to say. Now with the second spearman, things are starting to become even more dicey, and he's going to have to really, really care for his low HP villagers, which he does now send back. There's still 1 low HP villager over here, and Anotand, does he have enough stone yet?
It doesn't
look like it. He's sending them back. Oh, the villager, very low health.
That's a very, very low villager, and the problem is there's still not enough stone here. These villagers are under siege. More villagers pulled to try and get this done, and all those free spearmen already getting their value.
This time he commits. Oh, he's not getting it.
Just barely.
Stone. Just about.
Another veil. It isn't so
He
much
gets
danger. Just enough.
He gets it.
Let me see. Oh.
That was such a close one, though.
Good value, I would say, here from MarineLorD. He knows that those villagers are going to be ripe for the taking when the Sapahis arrive, and we see that first Sapahi already underway. This is going to be...
That's a military school one, though. Yes. That's not going to come in anytime soon.
Oh, and he blocks the second
TC spot. It's getting blocked out.
Oh, no. Oh, no, and the villagers are going to be so far out. Crackety, these spearmen are going to obliterate them.
Nah, there's so many villagers here that it doesn't really matter here at this point in time. Like, they can easily deal with that, so this TC is definitely going to go up. Just a little bit of annoyance, a little bit of delay coming in here. MarineLorD also blocking the perfect TC spot with the scout, so not able to get the full surround and the full protection on the deer and the other resources next to it. Anton's still going to have to be careful, though. Could potentially lose a villager if he's not careful. Might need to go for another villager hit here, but the TC does finish in time. With that, spearmen are going to get taken down, and resources are secured.
Now this might feel like, hey, all the villagers survived, but guys, those villagers, they are not going to do too well once the Sapahis arrive. This is one of those instances where that Sapahi, you look away for a second, and the villager is dead. It's not a good feeling in the scenario at all. It is so risky to be here. And now he's back on gold. But the question is, how long is he going to be allowed to be on that gold? The second gold is at the back there, protected a little bit by the TC, of course, with a little wall or two. But now he needs to find a way to get enough resources to start making some things. And with the amount of, or the lack of units I see on any other resource except for food, I'm a little concerned here, Crackety. Are we just getting a fast castle out of this?
It might just be. That's typically what we've kind of seen from the Order of the Dragon as well, that they do just go for that fast castle age, trying to age up with the Burgrave and getting the discount on their infantry units. MarineLorD, though, he's looking very aggressive at the moment. Already has the imams at the front line to try and heal. More production buildings coming up. Units just getting produced non-stop at this point in time. And not that many villagers on gold makes me think that, at the moment, he's just trying to go for the aggressive play onto that second TC. Window of opportunity is closing rather quickly for him, though. I do say that, but at the same time, his gold payment has just spiked a little bit. He pulled additional villagers over to gold, didn't he? MarineLorD did.
That is a lot of villagers from Anotand as well, but on MarineLorD's side, he
did pull a lot.
Suit. Yeah.
So it's just a slight aggression, but with a Castle Age plan behind it as well from him.
And getting that fast Castle Age as Ottomans is just going to allow him to quickly respond to whatever Anotand wants to do if he wanted to go for his own relics, because we've seen Order of the Dragon also feel pretty comfortable just sitting back. And as we can see there's not a lot of extra gold in that bank to be able to make some units. But with the imams, you are able to go and contest some of these relics that you don't want to give over to Order of the Dragon. Now, Order of the Dragon, they always go for the Burgrave. Because the Burgrave, it does give you the value in the sense of getting the same amount of gold if you are constantly using it. The problem is just, I don't know if he's going to have any gold to use. He hasn't moved over to the bottom side there to get the other gold. And he's going to need to get something here if he wants to be able to deal with this massive army that's circling his base.
Yeah, army just looking for those villager snipes at this point in time. Does have the scout with him, so will have additional knowledge about where exactly villagers are. But villagers have... is able to get one of the weak HP villagers there with the archers. Nice snipe there, and behind that follow-up is very rapid from MarineLorD with the Mehmet Imperial Armory. That's a very quick follow-up. At the same time, though, Anotand still has that second TC working for him. So economy-wise, his income is looking very solid. He doesn't have the gold income, though, as you said, Whammon. That's the one thing that he's really limited on at the moment. Does have a gold vein in the back, but no security there at the moment.
And you can see MarineLorD is confident in this. He's standing there at the front, waiting for the Mehmet Imperial Armory. And he's not even moving out to... Does he have one imam there? I see that there's a little pink dot there on one of the relics.
He's waiting for the age up. Yeah, exactly. He's waiting for the age up. He's going to be taking both the relics on the left-hand side there, even the one that's closest to Anotand.
And this is a safety relic for Anotand. So Anotand losing this one is massive. Anotand is making some spearmen between all of this, though. He realizes I might need some beefy things, but I don't have the gold to do anything else yet. Getting the +1 ranged armor, and MarineLorD on the other hand. Let's go see what he invests his gold in. He needs to get Sipahi upgrades. Crackety! You read this man like a book. He wants Sipahis, and a lot of them.
Sipahi is just the unit to have the flavor of the month at the moment. Anotand, though, he's got a lot of spearmen out. The only unit really that he can afford at the moment, so we'll have an answer to that. Looks like we also have a stable for him, so maybe could see those accompanied by some horsemen at some point soon. Now, where is Anotand gonna get gold from? Still has the gold vein in the back. He just needs to find the opportunity to stick to it. No counter against the archers for him yet, but looks like he is moving forward with the spearmen. But realize against this many archers, he might need to wait a little bit longer. He is getting his upgrade in.
The upgrade is about to hit.
Veterancy.
It does take a while, though, Crackety, and these spearmen have taken a lot of damage. The archers, though, they are going to try a little bit worse now, but they do pick off some of them, and this is a massive one. 2 dead spearmen on the floor, but now he does respect these veterans, the veterancy coming on in. Sipahi's making a beautiful movement back there, and MarineLorD just microing like an absolute god and clearing out every unit coming out of Anotand's base here. Now those spearmen...
It's bought him enough time, though, for an outpost.
And he's going to be able to be on that gold for a while. The archers now getting their veterancy. And this is just going to get harder and harder for him to defend. He does have the villager lead, though. That feels good. The problem is just the army from MarineLorD is not going to get any smaller.
He needs some horsemen soon. He does have the stable for them. Also seeing a monastery out for Anotand, so it looks like he still wants to contest some of the relics, but MarineLorD, with the army advantage, with the double imam that he already had, should definitely be in a position to get them in time. And look at that, yeah, he's getting every single relic, Whammon.
And it feels so tough. For someone like Anotand now sitting here knowing his gold is limited edition gold, and he's not going to have any of that juicy relic gold to make the towers better, to just have a little bit of an income behind this, especially now with Siege on the way. It's going to get quite difficult. The Sepahis, though, they are looking at their first target. And this target should not be hard to get. Now, the Spearmen, though, there's a significant amount of them. They do need to be careful. But they have 4 legs. They run pretty fast, and they're about to find some victims.
Fortitude activated. A lot of attack speed now on the Sepahi, and they just shred so quickly. Knights couldn't have killed these villagers that fast, and this is where the Sepahi shine. In the blink of an eye, 5 villagers go down. Anotand, lessons learned. Textiles now coming in for him. Sepahi yet again on the prowl here, finding more villager kills on the retreat. They're just such an oppressive unit, honestly. Archers being found out again, but there's enough spearmen, I think, where Anotand can realistically fight even against the archers. There's not the entire amount of archers is here behind this MarineLorD. He's just making more and more supply. He knows what's good. He knows that this unit is broken.
And Sepahis now can find a different target if they're so pleased. And we see MarineLorD's just out here on the map, living his best life, putting relics all around. He doesn't need to put them anywhere. There's no more space for the relics. He needs to invest in yet another monastery. So he's able to do a little bit of extra gold income for the man. But now that Mangonel joining the party, that's going to mean that these spearmen are going to be scary once they get on top, but the archers are kiting backwards, and it does look like he's going to be able to pick off a few. But Mangonel joining this fight as well. Sepahis need to be careful here, but the archers are picking off, and more are following. And this is just an absolute destruction.
Yeah, the spearmen are doing a really, really good job here, even against the archers, and now only Sepahi remaining. Anotand just took a great fight and now also going to be able to clean up the Mangonel here.
Pretty big pickup, but there's another one on the way. Sepahi is trying to kite back and forth without getting impaled. It does look like he wants to save this Mangonel at all costs. Sepahis, they are moving forward. They're destroying these spears. Those sticks are long enough to just clean up. Mangonel now firing back, very much alive and ready for the next fight. You cursed him, Kraken.
I'm surprised that MarineLorD isn't switching into Springlets at this point in time, considering that so far Anotand's been on a very, very homogenic army composition.
Now, MarineLorD feels very confident in his, just ensuring that he keeps those archer numbers up. But now he's decided to add some men-at-arms in here, because those spearmen, they've been quite annoying. Double broadaxe now from Anotand. 0 gold per minute at the moment, as it has just run out. And he's just not pivoting from this. It feels like Anotand is aware that these other units that he could be making, they cost gold. But what about some archers? Is this even an option for him? We do see that farming economy looking good. But he needs to get some other units. The horsemen now joining this whole shenanigan too. This is such a big army from MarineLorD, and he is looking for blood.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? That MarineLorD is just massing Sepahi against mass spearmen. And it's working, because Sepahi are built different compared to normal horsemen. They've just got so much HP. Grant, he's also making archers, but let's not kid around. Like, Sepahi is still the bread and butter of MarineLorD's army at this point in time. Also adding in some men-at-arms now. We do see the first horseman now having made it out for Anotand, able to pick off a couple of the Sepahi here, trying to go for the wraparound, trying to trap him in there a little bit, but Sepahi very quick. They do so much damage, taking down the gilded horseman there as well.
They made it look like they were a direct counter to this horseman. Mangonel just trailing behind. He's just like, no worries, guys. I just have balls to fire from the skies. Let's just kill all of these. The archers even fighting against the stable, but now they will be fighting backwards as the men-at-arms are now the front line. And this army is struggling. Anotand spending every bit of resource he can. The gold is running thinner and thinner, but he is on a normal-sized one from here on out. Now, it does look like those crossbows are going to give him a bit of an answer, but the problem is the Sepahi numbers are increasing, and crossbows, they don't do too well against Sepahis in these numbers.
They're gonna at least be able to deal with the men-at-arms, which are quite en masse at this point in time. MarineLorD, he's really put up a lot of them. Behind this, MarineLorD also floating a lot of gold. I wouldn't be surprised if MarineLorD now just decides to go for an Imperial Age follow-up, not even really doing anything against the second TC from Anotand here.
MarineLorD's even getting a few emplacements, so you can see him on his towers. He's getting emplacements. He won't mind stopping production, but Crackety, he's got 5 Zapahis in queue. He's gonna overwhelm for a while. He's not even caring about these farms. He's like, take your food. It is what it is. I will just pivot around and do some extra damage. More men-at-arms in the queue, and he has his eyes set on that second TC that's been pumping out non-stop. The Spearmen, though.
Finally, we're seeing some men-at-arms from Anotand as well.
The thing is, they are going to need a lot of time to get the mass to actually try and contest this. But like you said, MarineLorD, he's not spending every bit of resource he can. Stop men-at-arm production, too. So maybe that is going to be an Imperial Age click-up. But Zabahi's now going straight for the tower. You don't want that thing to get in place and repaired. It will go down.
Crossbows doing their best job here from back line. Decent damage up against the men-at-arms here. But triple, or rather at this point in time, double Imam play here at the front side with the AoE healing. Slowly but surely, the Spearmen are getting disintegrated. Just no connection being made there onto the archers. And there it is. Too many units. The army from MarineLorD just too big. Anotand not able to mass up his own army enough in time. And that is going to be a 3-0 MarineLorD now on match point already in this best of 7.
MarineLorD has come in here with a plan, and that's not to lose a single game. The man came in here to kill, and he's doing exactly that. Amazing performance here by MarineLorD. He reads Anotand like a book, and Anotand is just not able to take advantageous fights in this regard. It feels like MarineLorD has been just this constant reminder of that 100% win rate in series, and he's struggling against this. Even here at the start, MarineLorD knew exactly how much pressure to put down here. Villagers getting very, very low, and this just opening up for so many different types of harassment after this. Now, could this be a clean sweep on the other side? If he does decide to come back 4 games in a row, Anotand is not out yet. And we have seen crazier things. Like, we've seen games where Louis doesn't make any walls. It's possible.
Anything's definitely possible here in this one. And next up, wait, no, that's the current one that we just saw. We're not gonna see a wait, or
No,
is
no,
it?
No. I think this is just a little bit of a
classic,
respawn.
classic production troll.
Just keeping us on our
There
toes.
we go.
Gorge! Hey, Japanese ladies and gentlemen, we're getting some Japanese action here.
Yeah,
And-
Juji for MarineLorD and Japanese for Anotand.
Now, that does feel like a pretty tough matchup if you make a mistake. Either side here. Because Japan, if they get ahead, it's really hard for them to throw, I feel like. But at the same time, it's the same for Zushi. If you get that mass. So I feel like in this scenario, this is going to come down to who makes the least mistakes. And I know you can say that's exactly what MarineLorD has shown us here. But especially because of those big masses of units that you get from these two, it can quickly snowball one way or the other. Now on Gorge though, how do we feel about the matchup, Mr. Crackety? Analyze it for us. Tell me, what should we be expecting?
Well, Whammon, typically, of course, Juji, they do enjoy the occasional play into Pro Scout. I do believe that in this matchup, it's very realistic for Anotand to just open up with barracks, couple of Dark Age Spearmen, and just try to delay the Pro Scout a little bit, force the Juji's Legacy into an archery range, and get some Jugunu out on their side. Then afterwards, while they're busy just Pro Scouting with the Jugunu in return, Japan will just try and fast castle up behind that. And then we see some knights there, night raids coming in, And then just depends on who can get the most value, right? Japan, just in general, as a civilization, has a really, really good farm transition where even if they don't deny any deer, they won't necessarily run out of food anytime soon on their own. They also have really great food income from the berries if they have map control. So that's like the main key things that Anotand will want to make sure that he has under his control in order to pump out enough knights to do damage to MarineLorD and yeah, just kill enough villagers to win the army fights then as well.
Well, that's going to be a pretty hard thing to do when you are up against MarineLorD Anotand trying to find damage. Will he find it this game? Ladies and gentlemen, Anotand is playing some Dark Age shenanigans, and I'm ready for it. Now, this is a pretty good move, I think, against a civilization that you want to stop from pro scouting. MarineLorD, on the other hand, opening with a pretty standard age up here, or pretty standard opening. No Dark Age shenanigans here from Zushi, but Anotand is going to try to make it matter here at the start of the game, where he needs to stop that pro scouting from ever happening. He saw what it did against him earlier with just having 2 spears out on a gold, on a stone. So can it be the same on a gold? He's going for that second spearman too. So this is going to be an aggressive push here. We'll see when Anotand pivots away from this. But the problem is, when you do go against Zushi and you try to do damage to the gold, they open up with that Imperial official, and he's going to tower rush. Oh my god, crackety.
Yeah, so not just Spearman, but also the outpost coming in here from Anotand. That's a nice play. He does need to be careful, though, because I typically like having a couple more Spearmen early on instead, mainly because with more Spearmen, you're also going to be able to kind of decrease the ability of your opponent to move out a lot and get the meditation garden in as in as ideal of a spot that it might have been possible in. That Anotand does know exactly on which side that gold vein is. Villager moving towards it. Are we going to see even more spearmen here? I would imagine that there would be more spearmen. Ooh, the outpost, the mill. The mill is very far forward here from MarineLorD. An entire 2 tiles between the mill and the TC. This could be dangerous. TC does not spot the outpost from Anotand, so MarineLorD does not know that there is a lot more commitment than just the spearman here. He does have enough gold for the age up. He would have had that anyways, thanks to the taxman being there as well. With the outpost here as well, the typical answer would be to just age up, get your Jugunu in, and then you'll be able to get a gold access again. But this play with the spearman here makes that not possible. And now MarineLorD, he's moving out. He's moving past the berries. He's gonna drop the meditation garden inside of his base. But 5 villagers, that's quite the commitment. He wants to get that up as soon as possible. But yeah, this is a very sad meditation garden. That's just one of the benefits that you get when you're Dark Age rushing the Jury's Legacy, because they can't move out to get it in a better spot.
And when you get into, I was going to say, when you get into a position where you age up with 5, you want to get this out pretty quickly, because most likely he's thinking, okay, I just make a little archery range and I deal with this. But still, he doesn't know what the follow-up here is. So now, with putting 2 of those off, he wants to get the wood, he wants to get his production building out too. He realizes, I need the wood to actually be able to make that, right? But Anotand, he's got 5 spears, and he's only moved over to gold now. So with Anotand now being on gold, he is most likely going to start ramping up. But is MarineLorD going to be okay just being on 42 gold for now? I mean, of course, we do have an Imperial official who is just going to be supervising and picking up gold, bringing in them taxes. But no professional scouts will be possible for him. But when you have that much sheep, do you even need pro scouts?
Ideally, you still want the pro scout, and we do see the arch range now coming in for MarineLorD. He's going to be in for Rude Awakening once he sees that his opponent does have not just a spearman there, but also an outpost harassing that, or rather controlling that gold vein there. He said even with the Jugunu, he's not going to be able to immediately take control over that. Instead, he's going to have to use the Jugunu to push out against Anotand's base, but at that point in time, Anotand, he's going to have enough gold for his own age up as well, so the Jugunu won't immediately be able to just pay off there for himself. He needs another unit as well. He's going to need Spearman, because Anotand, he can get his own horsemen up as quickly as he needs to. for the HM. There we go. Coruscant House should be coming in now, and we do have the barracks coming in as well.
Oof, and he wants it
We'll
pretty
have all
quickly
the
as
right
well.
units. Yeah. Oh, Anotand,
Now-
he's going to have to make a choice. I think he might need an outpost just to buy himself a little bit more time. MarineLorD, mind you, he doesn't have gold access, so it's going to be difficult for him to get enough gold for siege engineering. So a push against an outpost would be a lot more difficult for him. Anotand has a lot more villagers on wood, but I think the Jugunu are going to be arriving in time. Nice play from Anotand with the one spearman out there. Is he staying around there, or is he... Oh, I think he's patrolling between both the gold mines.
Now, this does open up the possibility of sending a Jugunu there and dealing with the spearman, but it will give MarineLorD an extra bit of time to just get the resources that he needs. Now, pushing Anotand off of gold, Anotand is just going to be able to sit here and do a little bit of pressure there. He doesn't need to bring any more Jugunu to all of this. And you can see the villagers are fighting. They want this gold and they want it now. So with this, he is going to be able to bring up one of those Jugunu. We do see the pink dot already making his way here, but those berries are locked off as well. Luckily for him, he does have passive farms that will start forming around there. Villagers keep on fighting, and that spearman is gone not long for this world. Now, Crackety, do we go pro scouts from here, or do we just go for fast castle if you're MarineLorD?
Difficult decision, honestly, to make here. I mean, he is gaining access again, but only with a couple villagers there on gold. I don't think he's going to get enough gold income through that in order for fast castle. I'm not sure if he's going to commit to Pro Scout. Never mind, he pulled a couple more villagers over to gold. I still think we're going to see Pro Scout. And actually, Anotand. We have got the proxy base. Anotand, he's proxy basing.
Oh my god. In public,
This man.
guys. Double archery range with this as well. Now, the archery range is going to answer quite well to the spears and the handful of Jugunu, especially with the amount of units that you can... Yeah, not in these numbers, I would say, especially because there's 2 of them.
I mean, Jugunus in general just, like, they just load of archers in general. Any archer unit.
And we do see that Anotand, though, he's getting a little bit of stone here. Possibly to just get that tower reinforced at the gold there, because he needs to find a way to keep that safe, because now the army, the pink dots, they are coming. They're streaming right across this map, and we'll see where they go. The yellow dots, they have a similar idea. I just don't think they're going to find any damage here, Kraken. Feels like the whole economy is on the other side.
He could sneak into the wood economy, to be fair. And the benefit that he has there is that Jugunu are slow. Yumi archers are not. They're the opposite of slow. So the Yumi archers might be able to do a lot of damage and get out of it before MarineLorD can really like send units back to react. I think that's going to be the plan here from Anotand. He just has to make sure that he doesn't lose too many units and too much infrastructure on his own side there. Does have the houses relatively far forward, so he's going to really need to pay attention to those. Villagers are going to get pulled off the gold here. We don't have any siege engineering coming in yet for MarineLorD, though he does hold back a lot of wood at this point in time, so maybe that's going to be the next upgrade for him to start getting a ram in.
Now this is starting to be quite a sizable army here. We see MarineLorD with a ton of these Jugunu, but at the same time, that's a lot of archers that just quickly shut down your food. And even though the food is okay, they now need to move the sheep over to the other side, possibly going to be building a mill on the berries instead. And now those archers are going to be quite a bit of a menace. And it feels so strange now seeing yellow on this side when the UI is showing it on the other side, because there's just so many yellow units. But MarineLorD actually seems like he's quite confident in cleaning those up. He pulls back. He gets +1 range defense now. He doesn't want to be fighting against this. And not in its current state, at least. So that tower, causing a bit of havoc, but MarineLorD has pivoted from it successfully. Now the Jugunu just causing more idle time on that gold. In terms of not letting the gold get touched, he's doing a great job with that singular Jugunu. The Spearmen will have an answer to this though, but that's a huge mass of Jugunu, and they've got their eyes set on those Yumis. But the Yumis, like you said, they do run pretty fast.
Still, though, in direct engagements, the Yumi archers are gonna lose very, very quickly. And MarineLorD, he does see that base out there from Anotand. So At this point in time, Anotand, he's going to lose out on these two production buildings, surely. I don't think there's really a way that he can realistically keep pumping out units from here. So this villager looks like he's also going to go down. Isn't getting pulled back enough in time. Yeah, will get taken down. And now these two production buildings are going to be going as well. MarineLorD, he actually sent out villagers to the other mill there. With the sheep. Oh, he's actually killed all of them there. Are there? It's enough, Jugunu. Jugunu just are disgusting against archers. They're so strong.
Now, with the numbers that we see out here, this is going to get so hard. MarineLorD, though, he's pulled back. He knows exactly where he needs to attack. And with Anotand being this far out on the map, it does feel like he can get caught in this pretty easily. Now, with professional scouts coming on in, MarineLorD seems to be confident in his later transition. Spearmen now causing a little bit of idle time here on the wood lines, and the Yumi archers, they are going to try to find some damage. See if they can actually pick up a kill, because these villagers are pretty damn healthy, and now the Jiganu have come here to clean up everything that dare crosses into his land.
Behind this, Anotand, what's his plan now? Might just need to go for the age up. Jugunu also managed to sneak another villager kill in there on that one side from MarineLorD. Behind this, I mean, Anotand right now, he's just committing a dangerous amount, I want to say, to the Yumi play behind this. Even more upgrades coming in for them. Barracks now following. More spearmen at this point in time. And behind this, MarineLorD is now going into Pro Scouts on a quite a hefty delay, but should still find the timing here to just have full food income throughout the entire time. Full worker just activity there on the food income.
What I love to see is MarineLorD now just refocusing at 11:30. This is crazy. To see Pro Scouts at 11:30, it feels so unreal. Because at this point, we've already cleaned up all the deer, right? And most matchup, these things have been completely destroyed. MarineLorD's like, I've got 34 Jugunu. Let me move out on this map and pick up every single deer I can to just make sure that this mass keeps on going. Now, this army is about to find a pretty juicy spot of yellow blob running towards the north. And the question is, what is Anotand trying to attack here? Is he going for that gold because he wants to try and do damage? The problem is, that is reinforced by a tower, but going for the double prong attack, he does pick up an Imperial official at least. And a villager. Oh my god.
Jugunu still trying to find some damage here. I gotta find the scouts as they are pro scouting. Might be able to pick off one or two there if MarineLorD doesn't react in time. Is gonna do so though. And Jugunu already there. That's not... I'm not sure if there's enough Jugunu though. At this point in time, I think there's just enough archers to start one-shotting them. So this is a trade that Anotand can actually take. And villagers... One... Not going down. Behind this though, Anotand also able to damage on the other side. Did manage to sneak in a couple more worker kills. A second group of Yumi archers was able to sneak around and do damage there in the wood line. Nicely done by Anotand.
Anotand is sacrificing a pretty big chunk of army here for those villager kills, and yes, in the long run, this does pay off, but now, MarineLorD has access to much more food. Villagers here on the gold, though, they are reacting pretty quickly, and it does look like one of them will get shot in the tower, and Anotand, he picked up a few villager kills here, and that's great, but most of his army is gone, and MarineLorD, he's got a pretty sizable chunk, and now pivoting into horsemen is going to make that archer mass less and less effective.
Anotand, he's banking up resource. He might want to go for his own age up behind this, but this large military ball at the moment from MarineLorD making its way towards Anotand base, I think he's onto him. I think he knows, okay, his opponent right now, he's just been buying time with these Yumi archers. He's trying to go for the age up. Double outpost coming up from Anotand, but with just numbers in this mass here from MarineLorD, I'm not sure if that's actually going to be enough to hold against this.
We've seen what Jugunus can do to TCs. What they can do to towers is equally as scary, especially in this mass. So, not having a ram doesn't really matter at this point, especially when you've got this many Jugunu. You've got a few spears for fire, but Anotand is still trying to find some damage. He does pick off 6 total in the end. What he's about to pay the price of, I don't think is the right answer here. It does look like they're getting inside that tower as quickly as they can. Tower's now getting reinforced. And the Jugunu, though, they are going to get some villages in retribution.
Those reinforcements just came in, but look at that tower is still melting underneath the rapid-fire bolts from those Jugunu. Anotand, he's going to need to get the villagers out here some way or another, because if they stay there, they're just going to fall. Another fortification outplacement is coming in, and MarineLorD, he's committed. Villagers going down quickly here behind us now. One villager, he tried to tell the tale, not going to be able to do so in the end. It's going to be now time for the second outpost to go down. Loading gate coming up behind this Anton, trying to go for the Age up, but he doesn't have enough gold to click any upgrades afterwards.
Yeah, getting the floating gate in this stage of the game, you're asking yourself, okay, can I get a mounted samurai out to do some magic? But that mounted samurai needs to shoot rockets, because you are not going to be able to take down Jugunus in any capacity. Now, Mount Lu Academy coming on out from MarineLorD as well, and all of a sudden, this just gets scarier by the second. Yes, 8 villages have been killed by Anotand on his Yumi raids, but MarineLorD has now already overtaken that by just killing 12 with that Jugunu raid from that last part. But now Mount Lu Academy is going to get spotted. Anotand knows what's coming. Yumi archers are getting their upgrades now, but Jugunu, they don't care.
That's a destruction. That is just not something that you can easily recover. Shinto priest gets sacrificed, putting the Yoshiro inside the archery range. And just so many villagers went down there. MarineLorD, he still has over 40 Jugunu after all of this.
40 Jugunu can take on most things, and especially when they get that Castle Age upgrade, which MarineLorD does not have the gold for right now, but trust me, he's going to be getting that any moment. He's got a lot of food in the bank too. With that stable, he's just going to be able to afford anything he wants now. Now, 42 Jugunu, they see a market here too, understanding exactly how we afford it to get that Yumi upgrade, but those Yumi archers, they need to find magic. Anotand running for his life in every single direction, hoping for a miracle, and no Castle Age units coming on out because there's just no gold for it.
Yeah, he still has a couple of Yumi archers, but honestly, this is just incredibly rough for him now at the moment. Just trying to find any damage anywhere out on the map. He's only, I want to say, only 10 villagers behind, considering just how much damage he took so far. He's just not really, like, in a situation here where he can really find any meaningful damage on MarineLorD's side. The Jugunu just camping right now inside of the base from MarineLorD. At least the reinforcements are, and they're enough up against the Yumi archers here to completely shut down any aggression that's coming towards him.
Now, Anotand is asking himself what he can do to get out of this scenario. And we see him with one mounted samurai now coming on out. But with the amount of Jugunu, you can easily clean those up. Lance is now joining the party. Jugunu upgrades finally being clicked. And Pro Scouts getting shut down. But those deer are already nice and close too. MarineLorD trying to shut down that stable here at the back. Now the gold going to be idling out from MarineLorD. But keep in mind, he still has them taxes that he can fall back on. And those lances are quickly going to clean up these units so that they can go back on gold and live their best life. Anotand is not letting up though. He's still staying in this. This is the final game for him. So he needs to be sure that he tries his best and gives it his all. Those Yumis, they are going to try against the Lancer, but the Lancer does not care. Anotand knows this is it. That was enough. MarineLorD with 4-0 going into the finals for tomorrow against Louis.
Yeah, exactly. Clean 4-0 victory here for MarineLorD. Very well played. Gotta say, yeah, I mean, Anotand, there were some interesting strategies here again, and it looked good time and time throughout it all. But MarineLorD just with the very solid execution in the end, able to win them all. And that means that he is going to be facing off against our Louis MT tomorrow in the grand final. Definitely looking forward to that one. Oh man, these have been relatively quick sets today, I want to say. Not really something that I expected. Well, granted, I did expect the Vortex versus Louis set to be a very aggressive and potentially quicker one. wasn't too sure about this one between Anotand and MarineLorD. Granted, though, we did mention it, they are practice partners, so they probably are used to having relatively quick matches up against each other just for iteration purposes.
And understanding exactly how much of a lead the other one needs to actually end the game. Anotand knows when to call it when he's against MarineLorD. And I see a lot of people in chat also saying the same thing. Like, hey, maybe he just tapped out a little bit too early. MarineLorD and Anotand, they know each other's playstyle. He knows exactly at what point he can beat MarineLorD and at what point he can't. So it feels like from our vision that we know something or he had a chance. But for them, they've read this game. They've played this game 6 million times and they know when they're ready to call it. But MarineLorD looking confident and wonderful. And I'm so excited to see how he's going to do against Louis tomorrow. So, wonderful performance here by him.
All right, it is time. We've got our interview ready. MarineLorD coming at you live from the winner's desk. All right, MarineLorD, pleasure to have you back again here in the interview. Congratulations, first of all, a very clean set up against Anotand. How are you feeling after, I want to say, a very decisive victory against somebody that you've been practicing a lot against?
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I was not too sure what he would draft today and like how he would plan his series. But overall, even if he had some weird games, I expected most of it. So I'm not... I don't know, the first game I think he played pretty bad, but rest of the game he played pretty good and I played pretty good too, so I was happy about it.
You say that you're used to seeing just weird or interesting plays there. Speaking of a player that has weird or interesting plays, you are going to be facing off against Louis MT tomorrow in the grand finals. What do you think? I mean, today, I'm not sure if you've watched them. I do expect you to have watched them. We did have some very interesting games from Louis coming in. For example, Bizarre Wing, IU Bits there, and just overall a slew of interesting strategies here and there. What do you think? Do you think you're ready for the, I want to say, prodigy Chinese Louis MT tomorrow in the grand finals?
I mean, ready, yes, but of course he can beat me. I've practiced a lot with him recently and he's pretty good, so I know it's gonna be a fight. But overall, I still think I'm better than him and I don't know, like, I'm favorite for sure, but he for sure has a better chance than Anotand, I think. I mean, Louis is just the second best player in the world, in my opinion, right now. So obviously, if I lose to someone,
Okay.
I think it's gonna be him. I think Vortex is very good too, but I don't know. He plays very weird Vortex, so maybe in tournament it's not as hard to beat him because you just expect him to attack all the time. But Louis, he plays very well. He plays macro. He plays weird stuff. So I think he's just a very solid player nowadays.
Hey, so rare words of respect there from you up against another player. So Louis MT, in your opinion, second best player at the moment in the world. Definitely, I'm getting a similar vibe from him at the moment. He definitely seems like a player that has kind of figured out the whole macro dynamic that's going on at the moment in the meta as well, and just in general how to like play his games, have the correct game plan there. Definitely looking forward to that one. How are you feeling overall when it comes to your own performance at the moment? Do you think like you're in a really good spot at the moment? Do you think like your competitors are in a good spot? Just like judging overall from what you feel like the game's going at the moment.
I mean, I think the drafting part we are all pretty good. So most of the time it's pretty even, or I'm slightly favored because I outdraft them. I think overall, I'm not sure. I really think Louis is really good and he can beat me maybe like, I don't know, 20-30% of the time. I think the rest right now is not too good. Most of them are doing too many mistakes to beat me, I think. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Like, it depends on every player, right? Anotand improved a lot, but it's still like a small road to go for him to beat me. Papipo is good, but he lost to Vortex in a weird way, so I'm not sure. Like, some of them are very good and they can beat me, but I would say overall, the top 10 is not really scary.
Yeah, sometimes match style, like play styles also just clash against players, and yeah, that definitely does play a big role there. But anyways, once again, congratulations. We're going to be seeing more from you tomorrow in the grand finals.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to it. Thank you, MarineLorD.
Bye-bye.